English lesson plan focuses on narrative writing. Students are continuing their narrative and adding an exciting ending and character resolution. To start the lesson, students are looking at these 10 words and they are creating a comic strip using 5 of these words. This links to prior knowledge as these are spelling words used from a previous science lesson. The engage aspect is also used of the pedagogical model when creating this comic strip. Aspect of the lesson is the explicit teaching. Here the teacher links the lesson to previous lessons and further cements the information and knowledge. High impact teaching strategy, explicit teaching, is used here, as well as the explain aspect of the pedagogical model. The next aspect is 3 to 4 minutes of students talking in small groups about what they are going to do for the rest of their narrative. Group discussions allow for teachers to assess the meaning-making process of the students. It also encourages meaningful conversations and allows for students to share their understandings and areas of confusion. For their lesson, students go to their desks and add an exciting ending and character solution to finish off their narrative, and then they edit their narrative. Students are able to choose what they write about, allowing for them to use their funds of knowledge from their individual experiences, culture, and knowledge. After they've finished doing this, they then swap their narrative with another student. They read someone's draft, write notes and feedback on a sticky note, and give it back to the person. This allows for self and peer editing, which encourages independent and self-monitoring learners. Students working in small groups, reading materials, writing notes, and listening to others and share their own thinking throughout the lesson uses the whole language model of literacy development. Many HITs are also used here, including collaborative learning, when students work in small groups and edit each other's work. The gradual release of responsibility model is used as a teacher is guiding the students at the beginning of the lesson through the explicit teaching, and then allows them to form their own ideas in groups and class discussions and write their own story based on their own knowledge and experience. Towards the end of the lesson, students have created their own narrative and are editing other students' work on their own. At the end of the lesson, students reflect on what an exciting ending and character resolution is, and some students share their work. Assessment is important to show students their strengths and areas for improvement, and also for teachers to see how their teaching practice can be improved. Checklists are a good way to incorporate literacy assessment into this lesson, as they allow for general and quick information to be gathered on students' understanding. At the start of the lesson, as a class, students could come up with a checklist of what to look for in an exciting ending and copy the checklist into their book. At the end of the lesson, they could reflect on this. The lesson could be also differentiated by giving different examples of exciting endings and character solutions on the board to prompt students' thinking and ideas. Also by having further discussion group on the floor for students who need extra support. Also group work at tables where students can work together to come up with ideas. And an extension for students is students to write another exciting ending and character solution that could be had for their same story. At the 6 guiding principles, Principle 1 says that literacy practices are socially and culturally constructed and suggests that students learn how to do literacy by being a member of a group that is collaborative and connected to real-life experiences of students. Principle 2 says literacy practices are purposeful. They are organized in a way that present authentic and purposeful lessons. This is seen in this lesson plan in group discussions when students construct meaning when they work together. Also by writing the narrative when they are given opportunities to document their lived knowledge, experiences, and understandings. These things also suggest that people engage in literacy practices for a reason. Principle 3 says that literacy practice contains ideologies and values. Brian Street said there are 2 perspectives of literacy: ideological and autonomous model. The autonomous model is more traditional and is seen in this lesson at the beginning when there is explicit teaching. The ideological model is more prevalent in this lesson as it considers individuals' cultural experiences, knowledge, and applies it into the work. This is done through the classroom discussions and having a choice in what to write in the narrative in the lesson. Principle 4 says that literacy practices are learned through inquiry. Teachers should pose problems and students should take responsibility for their learning and make meaning by finding their own information, knowledge, and understanding. Principle 5 uses their background knowledge and cultural understanding to make sense of text. Students draw on their funds of knowledge and apply this into the classroom. Principle 6 says that literacy practices expand to include everyday text and multimodal text. Children grow up seeing logos, cartoons, different brands, etc., and from a young age are immersed in literacy. Through this, they then become adept at reading and producing multimodal text.